facilitated, and all the information they gave me was overwhelming, and I've just been going, since I don't think I could do this. I just really panicked. And then, so what Tammy did for me was recognize me, see who I am, and then what do you call it, Tammy? The process we went through. She had me say a declaration. Is that what you would call it? What?
There's different things that we do for different people according to what you need, but saying it out loud is very powerful. And so if I remember, and what they're telling me that we did, and you'll just have to confirm this, is that we were asking you if you wanted to know who you are. And if you want to know who you are, then there's something specific that I usually say, because to give you an example, and this is for all of your listeners, Elisa, here this woman, Susan, is a medium because she's talking to dead people, She's talking to people who have transitioned, but she's denying that she's a medium, but she's doing it. It's like the first person that had crossed over that came to me, I was like, I can't talk to dead people. I talk to masters and teachers and guides and angels. I don't talk to dead people. Because usually that's how the mediumship starts, is you're talking to people who have crossed over first. I skipped that and then backtracked. And so when I was only used to talking to masters and teachers and guides, when this woman appears in front of me, I'm like, I can't talk to you. And I'm talking to her because I'm seeing her. Sure. So first of all, not even knowing that you're a medium, and let's just get into that a little bit because I can't help but teach. You know that about me, Elisa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So a psychic is somebody who can read the auric field around you, that has all of the information about you and what you've done in your life and what you've experienced. It's kind of limited in scope, really, because a medium can communicate with that. They're already a psychic, but a psychic is not a medium, and a medium is always a psychic already. So there's levels of gradation or awareness or hierarchy and all of these things. So a medium can talk to somebody who has crossed over or who has transitioned, as I call it, because there's really no death. I laugh and say we talk to dead people, but that's not really how I feel. Right. So when you are communicating emphatically, let me tell you that you're a medium, flat out. So then there's levels of mediumship where you're not just talking to people who have crossed over, but you have the abilities to speak with masters and teachers. And then there's other levels and levels and levels and levels to where you can actually shapeshift and you can look different. I'm praying that that does not happen to me when I'm out in public. It happens in private sessions where I literally will change the shape and I'll look like an aunt or an uncle or a 13-year-old girl or a 16-year-old girl or a very, very old sage that's wrinkly, but they say I'm really pretty. And I can tell when that is occurring because the certain look on the client's face in front of me. And then I asked God, I said, okay, I don't really understand what the purpose is of this, but if this is something that you want me to do, then let me feel it in my body. Let me be able to tell. And I was sitting with a client who I had done this with before. And I just looked at her and I said, I'm shape-shifting right in front of you. I'm just going to keep going. And I was feeling my body and the cells of your body start to molecularly change. Weird. And I could feel it morphing and I could see the sacred geometry in the morphing. And then when we got finished, I said, I'm gonna stop looking like the image that you have me or they have me looking like, and I'm going to come back to me. And after I did that, I remember saying to God, see, I don't get the point, so stop doing that with me. And when we say we don't want to experience something, we have that right. And some people don't realize that you get to choose, because I've taught mediums not to talk to dead people. If they don't want to do it, if they're traumatized, if they're, they're walking in their room and somebody's sitting on the bed and they don't want to deal with this in this lifetime, I help them shut it off. So it's funny to me, Susan, that you're a medium and you're talking to your loved ones, but when Eric came in, you were shocked the same way, right?
I wasn't shocked when he was started talking to me, because I, as you say, talk to dead people all the time, but he was someone I didn't think I knew. And then as time went on, I said, I have a feeling that I've known you longer than the last few weeks since he said, you think?
Oh, that sounds like him.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll say something, he goes, duh. I'm like,
Yeah.
Also
He's not one of those wise sages who starts with "Welcome, my dear."
That's why I love him so much. He's just.
He is starting to appear. And Elisa, I just want to share with you some things. 4 people in 24 hours, because of that last video, told me that Eric had come to them and told them to hire me for a session. So
Wow,
Eric is on the bandwagon, and he has come to me and told me that he is bringing together people that will help to answer some of the things that you and your listeners have been wanting to know, because you already have a great group of people. Well, he's bringing in more that can offer a different viewpoint or a different perspective or something that we have experienced. Because the truth is, about all of us, we're only going to be able to share that which we know or that we have overcome. Yeah. So some people may have a specialty and they only talk to people who have crossed over, and that doesn't always work, for everybody else, because my specialty is that people who have crossed over only come in when there needs to be a healing for the individual. So they'll pop in and tell me everything they did to them, and then we go through that healing process. So I want you to know that Eric is behind the scenes now working to bring in people like me and some of the others that you've got coming in that I know you will know about, to help you to get more of, they want a broader scope than just some of the things that have been occurring. And I think you feel that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a natural gradation. Yeah. But is he works on a commission basis with you or what?
We'll talk about it. I do want to bring up something, and Elisa, you don't know I'm going to do this, but I want to bring this up for those of you that are listeners, because you're writing me and you're telling me how much Elisa means to you. If she really is touching your life in any way, and Elisa, please forgive me, just pretend you're not here for a minute, because I did not get permission to do this.
Well, actually, while you're saying this, I'm going to go and mute the TV, because I don't want people to hear the TV going. It's Animal Planet, though, not Fox News.
Okay. All right. So what I want to say is that for those of you who are getting anything, any morsel, go to channelingeric.com and contribute to the Channeling Eric channel. It's a lot of time that Elisa takes to be with me or to interview other people. She is sacrificing a great deal of her life. I know that it takes her about 4 hours to respond to every single day to your emails. So honoring her by, I don't care if it's $5, $10, $20, $1,000, if you're getting something, then the reciprocal energy of you giving back is very important. And what I want you to know is that Spirit will honor that if you contribute. It's like you can't outgive God. You can't outgive Spirit. So if you are getting something, the way to have it join is to have the reciprocal energy going around to where you're contributing and you're being contributed to. So Elisa, that was perfect. You have no idea what I just said.
Oh, good. Because I'm very uncomfortable with flattery. But yeah. But thank you for whatever you said.
I say amen to that too.
Go ahead, Susan. What would you say?
I said, I say amen to that too, what you just said.
Yeah.
Hey, since a lot of people don't really watch to the very end, I think it might be important to pause here, not pause, but give out like sites like tammydemirza.com. Okay, and I'll put that here. But also angelmedium7.com for Raylene. Is there anything else you want to share? Of course, we're going to share the how to register for the event happening in my house in early May.
Well, all they have to do is to go to that. And by the way, the premium packages are sold, but I was talking to Eric about the possibility of, I know we have 2 remote viewers that I was going to schedule sessions with, and I could actually schedule them later after the workshop. So I think Eric was trying to open up 2 more sessions. I mean, I can only do so much. These are the private 55-minute sessions with the clients that are actually signing up for the workshop. You can remotely view it on your computer, or you can be in person. And I'm having people call me and ask me, What would be the difference? How would it be beneficial? And I'm like, okay, think about it from this perspective. When you are in person and there is a collective, collaborative group of beings that are in person, and there's one accord and there's one purpose of this healing workshop, then you're recalibrated. And being in the presence of that, even if we're sitting down and having lunch, there's energy running, there's all kinds of things going on. There's, when you come in, getting to hug another human being, being up close and personal. So I would say that it's very powerful to do the remote viewing and to get into that energy. It's even more powerful to be there in person, because by the end of the 3 days.
Right, because in the events we've had, people, it's like, this has changed my life, life-changing. I mean, they meet people that are their friends for life, and it is very powerful. It surprises people a lot. It's like, wow, I did not know that it would be such a profound change in my life and my perspective, etc.
Well, because you're being with like-minded individuals, because all of you are being called to a certain event. I don't believe that there's one person for all. So each of you have your own intrinsic journey, and either you resonate with and you're supposed to be with a teacher or a mentor or somebody like me, or you're not. It's not a discredit or anything of the sort. It's just that there's a like-minded group of people that are being drawn to a certain teacher or mentor or person that is going to speak to them in a way that is relational to how they think, what their level of intelligence is, you know, what they need to hear, the vernaculars that we use, the authenticity of our hearts, how we speak from our heart, what some of our, you know, some of the things that we have overcome that we will share or be asked to share that are relational to something you have experienced. There are so many things that the non-physical looks at and calibrates and knows this person needs to connect with this person because of this. And it's beautiful in that way because you are so known. So for me, the thing that I would add is, and this was a concern that a lady called me back about the other day, and she's like, well, if there's so many people, I can't take this. And I said, oh, you have never been in front of me, because I will call you out in a minute. I said, if you are projecting your energy onto other people, then I'm just going to stop the session and say, hey, sweetheart, pull that in right now. Pull it in. You don't need to be feeling everybody here. Just stay in your own power. Stay in your own
Mistress Tammy.
So I'm reading, when I'm doing a lot of these things, it's crazy because I'm reading the thoughts, I'm reading the mind, I'm reading what's happened in their lives, I'm reading where they need to go, I'm reading what they're thinking, what questions they need to ask, what they need to know, and what they're doing all at one time. And it doesn't matter how many people are in front of me. I'm able to do that at one time for everyone. So I'm like a gatekeeper, making sure that everybody is in a certain vibrational level and being able to use this just for us, because we have a tendency as spiritual people to think, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to help somebody. No, don't come to a workshop, any kind of spiritual workshop, with that thought in mind. You come open to, what can I receive? What can I get? Why am I being drawn to do this for me? I can't wait to see what's going to happen and why you have me at this venue. And then you let the non-physical, you let God help to put all of the pieces together. And then you have this beautiful mosaic by the time you land or you end, you know, because you're on a high from being in this vibrational thing with all the teachings and everything that I'm going to be offering. The other thing that I would share is that I'm starting a metaphysical radio show, and you can go to www.metaphysicaltalkradio.com. That should be happening around the end of April, and I'm doing a lot of teaching and interviewing people and just giving a lot of free information on there.
Awesome. All right, well, let's hear more about your session with Tammy, Susan.
Okay, so in that, she's told me a lot of things that I knew about myself, but I don't like to admit, or I don't like to show.
Oh yeah.
And then she had me say this thing, and it was like a telling the universe, telling God, this spirit, that I am willing to do what, that I'm willing to do what I came here to do, that I'm ready, what we said was, God was giving me my identity now instead of me, the story I had written about myself. Am I getting that, Tammy? Am I
Yeah.
saying that right? Is that what
You're not defining yourself by, from your story, from your other lives, from the people around you, etc. You
yeah,
are defining yourself as God created you, as who you are supposed to be and who you
right,
are.
right. So she said the words and I repeated after. Um, it was very profound. And the thing, then she said, it'll be 72 hours that while you integrate. And I have had a lot of energy healings, a lot of energy healer friends. And then, it takes a while to integrate it. But this was like nothing. This was, the next day I was cranky. And I'm not a cranky person.
You don't strike me as a crazy person at all.
I went, what is wrong with me? And I realized when I went to bed, or as the day went on, I was just exhausted. I was really tired. It's like when you're just so tired and you can't go on. But I didn't know that. I woke up in the morning like that, and I was just, man, I am so cranky. And this next day was the same thing. It was better, but I was still, by that time I'd figured out, okay, there was so much going on in me, so much reordering and rearranging, and it was amazing. And then by the third day, I had a pedicure and manicure and scheduled, and I thought, oh, good, this period will end while I'm there, getting just pampered and relaxed, and it did, and then I was back to myself, but in a different way, just not a real dramatic, but I felt, okay, I'm me.
Wow.
One of the things, I kind of hesitate to say this, but one of the things I was told years ago was that that I had been Mary Magdalene.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, lots of people think that, and I didn't really understand.
Well, someone
that.
has to be.
And it freaked me out because I went, well, if I'm that big a soul, then I wouldn't be screwing up this much in this life. Why am I living this, But what I came to learn was, and Eric gave me the word, because the other day I was going, okay, he said it's a facet. I'm a facet of that soul, because those souls are so big, they're so expanded, that there are lots of us who are facets of that soul.
So it has to be what kind of soul has to be constructed in facets? It can't be just a regular soul like me. Then it has to be.
You know what it feels like when Jesus is around. What it feels like. Mm-hmm. Well, she was his partner, his wife, his partner, and his co-teacher with him, his support system. So, they were, and he was enlightened in that lifetime. So,
and so
I don't understand. I don't claim to understand it. I just know that I finally came to peace with that label, with that knowing, and I know, yes, because he and I are very close. He's been my closest guide this whole life. I've been close to him, knowing him all this lifetime. And when we would go to church and I would hear all this stuff they're saying, that is a bunch of BS, I know him. He doesn't do that. He wouldn't say that, that the religion.
Well, out loud, you find yourself naked in another, cell. So.
I know, but the religion was constructed by other people. So anyway, I know I probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway, You know how he feels. So I don't pretend to understand that. I just know that somebody said at one point that those souls get so big that they, you know, many of us come from that. So
Yeah.
but I'm not trying to, I just finally accepted that. And I finally,
You know, those souls, I think, have this huge level of humility.
yeah. Well, they just know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for what, I mean, I just came into that, okay, I accept that. And it's like, yeah, finally they're all going, yay! You know?
So would you like for me to explain to you why you were cranky and feeling agitated or whatever it was that you were feeling? Because I can explain it.
Sure.
So
I think probably what you did, you know how you run their energy and you manipulate their energy? You probably just tickled her cranky bone just a little bit.
actually,
Like, you know, when you play Operation and you had those little tweezers, uh-oh.
nope, that is not the answer.
Dang it.
But that was
So
a pretty good guess. That was a pretty good guess, especially after the last video where you're watching me moving energy.
Right.
Just as a guide, as an intercessor for somebody, because the lack of awareness that somebody has of what's really going on, I can bypass that and know exactly what's going on and where I need to go. In your case, as in what I do in all sessions, is that I'm really, in his, there was so much to do in such a short time, Elisa, so I was running energy and talking to him and, you know, teaching all at the same time. I was multifunctioning big time. When I'm doing a session and there are big decisions that somebody is making, we give them the awareness and the aha moments of discovery, of bringing to their awareness, shining a spotlight on things, saying, here's the truth, here's what we want you to know, here's what you're in denial about. Once you see that, then you pretty much go into this place of, okay, well, if this is true and this is familiar, we're really validating you. In the case of what she went through is what every single person goes through in their spiritual journey. When you make a really big shift or you make a really big decision or you have those aha moments and you suddenly shift, the cells of your body are trying to catch up. So it's like this. There's spirit, the mind, which is the emotional realm, and then the physical. So when that's in alignment, there's nothing but love, energy, miracles, stimulus, you know, grace. You're wanting to run, you're wanting to play, you can't wait, you get completed, you graduate, you're on to the next curriculum. When you're in fear energy, nothing is really going on. Everything is ambiguous. There's no clarity. Everything is just spinning like you're on a hamster wheel. So when you take someone from that shape of running on a hamster wheel, you take them out of the hamster wheel and you go, let's look at this. And then they make the decision for themselves. I really feel that what I do is just educate people to the truth about themselves so that they will be empowered to make their own decisions. So when I was revealing to you, Susan, you're this, you're like, okay. And there's such a knowing when it's being said that you don't question it. You're embarrassed. You're kind of, oh, okay, all right. I got to accept that because there's no way Tammy would know any of these things, just like with all other mediums that are really healers. We're healing by exposing the truth about you so that you can then choose. When you chose, the shift is so large that it's like you're running on a hamster wheel with a certain thought process. You're all of a sudden off that wheel and you're catapulted like a slingshot.
Oh boy.
Into something very powerful. So when we had to do that, and Elisa, if you want to, we can offer that to every single listener right now, and I can give you the premise of what we did with her, and then let all of your listeners say this, kind of like I was leading you with the guy from South Africa. When you make that shift, the cells of the body has to catch up. So spirit is first, the mind, emotional, and then the physical. The physical is the last thing to catch up on everything. So you make a decision in the spiritual realm, then the emotional realm catches up. Then the physical realm is the last thing to catch up. So what you were experiencing, Susan, was a transition in the emotional body and the mind and in the physical body. And what your guides were doing was just standing near you, massaging you when they felt that you needed to be massaged, because there is a very loving, it's okay, come on, it's okay. We've got you. Sometimes you'll feel the hand on your face.
Oh.
I remember seeing the hand of Jesus wipe a tear off of my eye one day, and I went, okay, I can stop crying. You know?
Wow.
So when you experience this, there's a massaging, there's an instigating, almost like a poking, like there's something else we want to release, there's something else, and then your body is trying to catch up. So when you move really fast like you did, by making this formal decision, which, Elisa, most people don't know that they have to make formal decisions. And I'm going to give you a really good story about that. And that is that when God was teaching me this concept, or the non-physical love energy was teaching me this concept, I was smart enough to say, you have to integrate this into my personal life in a way that I won't question this spiritual law or principle. Because what I was doing was I wasn't understanding how, I get these downloads and I don't want to lose it. So I'm like, bring it to me in the physical in a way that I will never forget it. So an hour later, I'm in the car and I hear, turn the radio on to this channel. And I did, and Michael Jackson was being interviewed. And the interviewer said something profound. They said, where do you get your divine inspiration? Which is an interesting way for somebody in the secular world to be looking to use it. And you know what Michael said? Every day when I go to bed, I have a pad and a pencil beside my bed, because if God wakes me up with a thought or the song, the lyrics or the song, I take it and say yes, and I write it down, because if I don't, he'll give it to Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Right. When Michael died, guess what I was looking for? There was a pad with a pen beside his bed.
Wow.
And then when Prince died, I didn't realize how many voice inflections and similarities there were between Prince and Michael's music. So the concept is, and the truth is, that if you're not making a decision, then you're not stepping into the power of it, because God and the non-physical is very much like a gentleman that wants to knock on the door, but they will not force you to open the door. You know, I know Eric has done that to you, and that's okay. But the way that spirit works is to knock, 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 knock. And we're not opening the door because we're like, oh, there's a knock. Okay, there's somebody at the door. And we're not really, we're not acknowledging it. So the formality, which is something that I do very often with clients, of Susan being in, you know, not really wanting to accept the truth about the wholeness of you and what you are doing and how you were functioning and your abilities, that was shifted by the end of her session with all of the truth, the exposure, the knowingness, the gentleness, the, you know, the awareness that was coming forward. You were ready to make that decision by the end of the session. And when you made the decision, everything in your life and your future shifted in that holy instant. So when we had you say that, we're just formally saying it out loud. And what I do is I ask people, you are being asked to make the decision. You can make it in front of me or without me, but you're going to have to make the decision. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to choose. And Spirit doesn't care what you choose. Spirit does not beat you up because you say no, because there have been things that I've said no to. Like I was sharing earlier, you know, transmediumship and shape-shifting in front of people. Yeah. And now I'm willing to do it again. You know, so I'm okay with it.
There's a time and a place. You know, it's really weird. When I look at Eric's pictures, he looks so different in every one. And it's not just, well, he's getting older and changing. He looks like a completely different person. I always thought about that when he was alive. He's just, I don't know what that is. I don't think it's shape-shifting, but it's always weird. And my husband and I were talking about that, and he agrees. None of our other kids evolved as they grew, kind of looking like, you know, themselves, but it was weird.
That is somebody who has the ability to shape-shift. I look different in every single one of my videos. I don't ever look the same. And everybody looks at me and goes, is that you? And I'm like, yes, it's me. I'm always going to look different. Because according to what is going on, the blurred lines between what is physical and what is non-physical get blurry, if you know what I mean. And if you see what they look like, the walls literally will waffle in front of your eyes. And you're looking at the walls going, okay, you're not even real, and I could walk through you right now. And I just know that I could. Because every once in a while we'll get glimpses into what is really going on in this physical realm and in the non-physical. And let me tell you something that Spirit has taught me, and it's so good. They said, what to all of you is big is tiny in the non-physical. What is tiny to you in the physical is huge to us. So we look at life from the perspective of, this is all there is, this is all there is. So it's like looking, I can't really see, but all I can see is underneath my eyes laterally. When that comes off, it's like the veil coming, tearing, then all of a sudden there's a whole openness to all things. And the more you grow, the more you clear, then the more you're going to see. So Susan, guess what? The benefit of going through that session, that time, everything that's built up to this point, now you're being asked to be in public and say out loud some things, and you're saying things that are uncomfortable. This is the evidence of your shift, because you would not have done this before. Guess what? There's more. There's more. And the heightened awareness, and suddenly you're getting information and downloads, and that's because you just cleared space. It's like coming into my den and saying, I don't like this sofa. I need to put another sofa in here. I'm not liking this anymore. Would I put a sofa on top of it? No. We have to take the other one out and then put the new in. So what you're doing is you have cleared space. You have accepted who you are in this lifetime. You have said, I do want to know who I am. Because really, the only work that we really have to do here is getting rid of the degrees of separation between us and us, which means us and God, us and non-physical, us and the physical. We're pretending that we're lost. But if you formally say, I want to know what you know about me that I don't know, that is really what we did with you. You just formally answered, you were ready, so I guided you through it. So Elisa, would you like to offer this to your clients? I mean, your listeners real quick? Do you want to do that?
Are you talking to me?
For all of the listeners that may be resonating with Susan and wanting to get free and wanting to know who they are and what they came here to do, then we can do this little process for everybody to repeat. How do you feel? Okay. All right. So everybody get into a very comfortable position. Adjust yourself. Did you know that the spinal column actually has a cylinder of light that is round, that looks like a size of a telephone pole, that connects your spine to the non-physical? That's when you're not just on this earth plane, but you are connecting intentionally with what we call heaven or the non-physical. So a lot of you are experiencing, sorry, but my head's itching. A lot of you are experiencing a tingling right here in the crown of your head, because when we start talking about connecting, the whole body starts getting excited and going, I'm going to show him or her the evidence that they are connecting because we brought this up. So what you simply say is this. You have this awareness that you're not fully aware of who you are. You know that. You know that there's something that you came here to do that you're not doing yet. You know that there are things about you that you don't understand how the puzzle fits together, and every single thing that you have been through that really is on purpose. There's not one thing that you have been through that is not beneficial. You just don't see the whole puzzle yet. So what we're doing is we're getting in alignment with that ability to connect with that which is known. So if you look at it from this perspective, it's like we're below the tree level and we're lost in the forest, and we keep doing the same thing, going on the same trail, seeing the same tree, seeing the same, and we know that there's a way out. And so God or non-physical's perspective is way up here above the tree lines, and they go, watch this one. There's the water right there. She'll just connect with me. I'll tell her. If he will just ask me how he's going to get a job, I'll tell him, because I can see all of it.
Must be very frustrating for them.
Yes, and it is, and we all do it. So if you just stop yourself, get in a very comfortable position, and you open yourself to, I'm ready to make that decision. I'm ready to change my life. You will change your life. And then you may have some of the symptoms that Susan had, or flu-like symptoms, but you're not running the fever. You're not having a cold. These are all symptoms of a movement, of a spiritual movement, of everything changing in your life. So Susan, good job. The fact that you were irritated, the fact that you were tired and fatigued, that is classic symptoms of the shift. Yes. Okay, so let's do this. In this lifetime, and everybody can just say this after me, you don't have to. In this lifetime, my name is, and I'm just going to say mine, my name is Tammy.
Yes,
That does not identify me.
Does not identify
does
me.
not identify.
I am much more than that name
I am much more than that name.
and that story
And that story.
and my family and friends and this world.
My family.
And friends in this world.
The truth is, I don't know who I am.
The truth is, I don't know who I am.
And I have been torn up and fragmented
And I have been torn up and fragmented
and not feeling whole.
and not feeling whole.
Feeling whole.
I'm tired of that pain.
I am tired
I'm
of
tired of that pain.
So today, heaven and earth
So today, heaven and earth
and everything in between,
and everything between.
listen up, I'm making a decision.
Listen up.
I'm making
I'm making a decision.
I choose to know me.
I choose
to know me.
me.
Show me what you know about me that I don't remember.
Show me what you know about me that I don't remember.
And I can see, be, and do.
And I can see, be, and do.
I can't wait to see how you're going to do it.
I can't wait to see how we're going to do it.
And I thank you for serving me.
And I thank you for serving me.
And so it is.
And so it is.
A lot of people just shifted.
Wow.
And I'm seeing the people, you guys spiritually, and it doesn't matter if you're listening right now or you're listening later, you're spiritually popping in, and I want to cry because some of you are crying and you're doing like this. And I just want to say, I see you. I see you. Alyssa, a bunch of people are popping in and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. That I know that just changed my life. Something that simple.
Wow.
Making a decision.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's my anniversary today. We're going to go out to dinner. So I got that excuse if I'm cranky. That's fine, honey. I've got a cranky headache. All right, before we close, because we only have 4 minutes left, do you want to say anything else? Either of you?
Susan, do you have anything?
Happy anniversary, Elisa.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Happy anniversary. How many years?
37.
Wow. That's a long
I
time.
think we were married in 1983. So I asked Alexa, you know, what's 2020 minus 1983? It came up 37. I don't know. I lost count.
That's a big thing. That is a big thing. How are you feeling about all the people signing up for the workshop? That it's exploding.
Oh, wow. Is it good? I don't know.
Exploding. It
Look
is.
at
There's like
awesome.
20-something tickets that have already been
Oh,
filled.
my God. Y'all, she's going to run out of space. You better book it now.
Yeah, exactly. I want to thank you, Alyssa, for all that you do. And I'm going to mention again, go to channelingerik.com and contribute, because she's not asking for this, but I'm telling you that if you get anything, give something back.
Oh, that's sweet.
That makes it reciprocal. And that was basically the essence of what I was teaching them while you were gone, Alyssa.
Well, my whole philosophy is, you know, I don't mind getting, you know, like 50% of the overhead, but and something to help me build this spiritual online school, but I don't want money that will go to mani-pedis, which I don't get clearly, or, you know, personal stuff like that. So
It's none of our business.
it ain't going to a yacht. Let me tell you that. Okay.
I so appreciate what you do, Alyssa.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
And your son is just a blessed being.
Oh, thank you.
He's now huge in my life, and I love him.
Well, maybe we should have a session together and put it on YouTube.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Like a CE medium thing.
Eric.
You got this. You
I'm
have
up for it.
give it a little bit of time and then you'll be ready. I promise you. Things are going to start popping and cracking in your life. And you have been warned.
I've been warned by more than you. Eric's telling me, my sister's telling me, she keeps saying, get your website up, get your website up.
Yes.
That's good. Well, just get in touch with me, Susan, okay? When you're ready.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys. I love you, Susan. I love you, Tammy. I love you, Eric. I love you, my viewers. Our viewers, I guess. So until next time.
I love you too.
Love you too.
Check out tammydemersa.com.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yes. You can schedule with me there too.
Oh, yeah, and you can book your ticket. There's a thing on the right-hand sidebar of the homepage of the blog, and channeling Eric is spelled with a K. All right, talk to you later, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you.